Hello aspirants, welcome back to EduRev, your learning partner. In the previous video, we have understood the relevance of economy for UPSC and beyond UPSC. In this video, we will be looking at the contents of economy. So let us enter into it. Here I have given the broader chapters. So the chapter 1 deals with what is economy and what is economics. So we'll understand the meaning, differences between economy and economics, and types of economies like capitalist economy, socialist economy and mixed economy, and here also types of economics like microeconomics and macroeconomics and mesoeconomics. So these things we'll understand in the first thing, and in second we'll be looking at the difference between growth and development, and what is the meaning of growth and development, what indicators are there to measure growth and development. Here we'll be looking at GDP, NDP and national income, per capita income. At the same time we'll also be looking at certain indices like human developmental index and happiness index, etc. Clear? And in the third section we'll be looking at the structural composition of our economy like primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector and their contribution to GDP. So in this manner we are going to cover it, right? Here we'll also be looking at estimation of GDP and different methods on it. Clear? Now moving on to the second chapter, which is about planning. So planning, here we'll be looking at the role of planning commission, the establishment of planning commission and its composition and its function like in devising the 5-year planning, and then the emergence of Niti Aayog, and which gives the long-term vision of 15 years, right? So the 5-year planning has been done away with the 12th year 5-year planning. Now we have these 15 years plans which are coterminous with our sustainable developmental goals. Clear? In the third chapter we'll be looking at the fiscal system of India. Here we'll be understanding what is the fiscal deficit and how this fiscal deficit will be financed by the different methods that we have, like printing of the currency or loan taking from the ways and means of RBI. All of them will be understood here. At the same time we'll also be looking at the FRBM Act, the fiscal discipline and devolution of this money to the states based on this FRBM, etc. will be discussed here, right? Next, coming to the next chapter, which is related to inflation. Here we'll understand the meaning of inflation and different types of inflation like hyperinflation, stagflation, etc. At the same time we'll also understand what is the impact of inflation on the economy, and in order to nullify it, what measures that we have to take and what is the role played by the RBI. Clear? Next, coming to the next chapter, which is budget. So budget, how it is passed in the parliament, how it is introduced, and what are the changes that have been taken place in recent times, like our railway budget has been done away with. And at the same time here we'll also be looking at different terms with respect to budget like vote of credit, and then there is a concept like grants, right, discretionary grants, etc. At the same time we'll also be looking at some of the cut motions like policy cut motion, token cut motion, etc. here. Next thing is monetary policy, which is related to the monetary, that is money, right? Here the role of RBI, how it devises a monetary policy based on the recommendations of Monetary Policy Commission and its composition of the Monetary Policy Commission, plus the tight monetary policy, loose monetary policy, when to set in motion. All these things will be discussed here. Clear? Then we'll be looking at taxation. Here we'll understand what is a tax and what is the difference between tax and cess, and different types of taxation like progressive taxation, regressive taxation, and taxes types like direct taxes and indirect taxes. All of them will be discussed here, and the recent developments with respect to goods and service tax and the goods and service tax council, which is known as GST council, and the related matters thereafter will be discussed here. Now moving on, in the next chapter we'll be looking at the banking sector. Here we'll be discussing how scheduled commercial banks works and banking merges, whatever the merging is taking place nowadays. At the same time the role of RBI and non-banking financial institutions, right, and the lending and borrowing process done by this banking sector, then what is the priority sector lending, etc. All of them will be discussed here. Clear? And in the money market, we'll be looking at how the public money is managed in the economy and how government borrows from the public so that it does not create a crowding effect in the banks. All of them will be discussed here. Next, coming to the stock market, here we'll understand what is a stock, how they are traded, right, and certain regulators like SEBI and Bombay Stock Exchange, etc. will be discussed. Apart from that, here we'll understand the stock market, like what is the meaning of bull market and bear market, which we see generally in the news, right. All of them will be discussed here. Next, coming to the external sector, see, India being a sovereign nation, we are not self-reliant in all resources. We need to trade with different nations. So while trading, we'll be having certain imports and exports. Clear? So these imports and exports, and out of it, what is the meaning of current account, and what is the meaning of balance of payments, and what is the meaning of forex reserves, which are held by the RBI, and what is the role of Exim Bank, etc. will be discussed here. Clear? Next, coming to the next chapter, which is international fora, right? So what is the meaning of international fora? Here we'll be looking at certain international institutions like World Bank, IMF, and certain institutions like AIIB, NDB, New Developmental Bank, which is also known as BRICS Bank, ADP, Asian Developmental Banks, etc. and their mandate, function, and the role of India and India's interests will be discussed here. Next, in the 13th chapter, we'll be looking at poverty. Here we'll understand what is the meaning of poverty, what is the various standards and various committees which are established in order to estimate the poverty rate in India, and what is the international standard which is set by World Bank. And apart from that, certain schemes which are related to poverty and alleviating the poverty we'll be discussing here. Then coming to the next one, which is insurance sector. Here we'll understand what is the meaning of insurance and what is the significance of insurance in our economy as our demographic dividend, that is the population of India as moving towards the aging, right? As India ages, what is the role of insurance in health, in education, in agriculture, etc. will be discussed here. Clear? Thank you very much.